Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here at Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin cryptocurrencies from a Muslim perspective. And we are continuing on our series of discussions, conversations, addressing objections made against the Bitcoin network, and from learned Islamic individuals. And one of the objections, which is very commonly mentioned, which we feel is an example of objections that have nothing to do with Bitcoin. And this is Bitcoin is used for money laundering. Now, this is one of I would say almost there's a series and a collection of objections towards Bitcoin that is entirely unfair. Listen carefully. I believe that there are a series of objections towards the Bitcoin network that are entirely unfair because those objections are used against Bitcoin and ignored against our current system even, or against other systems. So for example, you might find someone says, oh, Bitcoin is like this, but you find the same behavior with gold and silver. Or Bitcoin does this, but you find the same thing with regards to fiat. I mean, it's unfair to object against a system, wave a flag of another system, yet they both have the same problems. If this is even a problem. Number one, what is money laundering? Laundering, like you go to the laundrettes and laundry, is to clean, i.e. clean dirty money. So if you earn money through haram, through criminal activity, and you wish to weave that into the economy, so therefore people think it is earned legitimately, then that's called money laundering. However, this also included in money laundering is money that has not had its tax or undeclared income. That's what it is. That's the best way to say it. Money that has been earned and the government hasn't taken their pound of flesh. So when we object against money, or we speak about money laundering, we have to understand that this doesn't just talk about criminals. Not every time a person launders money, you could say, or they have a system that launders money, that we're talking about only criminals. There are some people who, due to their political regime, they have to get their money out of their country somehow. Maybe their country is oppressive, maybe the country is taking money off of them, and they wish to save their funds from such oppression. There could be many reasons why a person might need to use a particular system or platform to help preserve their wealth that they earned through halal, by the way. They have a legitimate business, doing a legitimate act, earning income to pay for their family and look after their family and their friends and whatnot. But yet someone else wants to take that money off of them and they want to save that money. There's many things that person might do to avoid such a thing, but some governments might call it laundering. So number one, just because Bitcoin could be used for money laundering doesn't mean that they are doing haram. That's the first thing. Second thing is that if you look at the global money laundering industry, I think estimates takes about up to about $4 trillion worth of money laundered every year, and a fraction, tiny fraction of that is through the Bitcoin network. Actually, as a matter of fact, Bitcoin is probably one of the worst places to use for criminal activities because it's so traceable, which calls back to our previous video when we discussed about Bitcoin not being traceable. You can't trace where money goes. You definitely can, and Bitcoin is one of the worst places to do so. Maybe you want to use Monero or other coins that have a hidden ledger, but Bitcoin's ledger is public and available. So even the case that Bitcoin is used for money laundering, it isn't really. It definitely is. It definitely is the case. People do use Bitcoin for criminal activities, but they also use dollar, and the dollar is actually used for money laundering a lot more than Bitcoin. And there will come a day when there'll be more money laundered through Bitcoin than dollar. I believe so, because that's due to adoption. When more people adopt the Bitcoin network and start using it in an everyday transaction, then people will just start using Bitcoin. But like I said to you, we have a whole industry put into place to help the rich launder their money out of their countries, out of whatever the case may be. So money laundering will always exist. And the process of money laundering is currency agnostic. laundering doesn't depend on the currency. Laundering can happen with any currency, any way you want. And to put a label on Bitcoin and say Bitcoin is bad because you can money launder is like saying money is bad because you can money launder. And that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Anyway, so we hope you found this video beneficial and useful. Please like this video if you find it useful. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a shout on our website if you want. And enjoy the rest of your day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.